Dream SMP lore has been coming fast and furious lately, and in the Minecraft world, it seems like all eyes are on the Dream SMP. So today, we're going to take a look at the server as a whole and find out how many lives each member has, and what are the odds of keeping those as we move through 2022. Welcome back, friends, and a special welcome to all the new friends out there. I'm YoBGS. And yeah, I wanted to try something a little bit different today because as I'm getting prepared to get caught up on Sam's Dream SMP lore, I realized I wasn't quite sure how many lives everybody had left on the server. So I thought, kind of as like a different sort of video today, we would go through how many lives everyone has and my predictions on how likely they are to keep those lives for the rest of the year. If you dig this video and if you like what I'm doing, please make sure to check and see if you're subscribed. It helps the channel out more than you know. Really hoping to get to 100K by the end of the year. So first things first, we're gonna start out with the people that have 3 lives left. I'm gonna do this just kind of in alphabetical order. Seems to make as much sense as possible to me, but we've got Boomer NA, 3 lives left. I think, honestly, when it comes to Boomer, he's at a medium risk of losing one of his canon lives on the Dream SMP, mainly because right now his big thing is that he's looking for Dream. Like, he went to Aaron, he tried to figure out where Dream was, didn't really get an answer, but anytime you are messing around with Dream, especially at this point where he's out of prison, I think they would consider him armed and dangerous, you're at least a medium risk of running on the wrong side of Dream, especially if Boomer's PvP skills are not that great. The Dream SMP OG is next in Callahan, and I think it's safe to say Callahan is the only person on my list with none risk at all of losing any of his canon lives on the Dream SMP, because the thing about Callahan is that Callahan is the architect. If Dream XD is God, Callahan is like super god, you know what I mean? He's like the 4th season of Dragon Ball Z, like that power level when everyone else is on the 1st season of Dragon Ball. Captain Puffy, I also think is at a very low risk of losing life. Captain Puffy, again, 3 lives left. Last I saw, she was trying to start her villain arc on the SMP, but I don't think that's really come to fruition. So while she was at a decent risk a while ago, I think she's low now. Aerith, low, but low with a caveat. That's because Aerith was wandering around with Tubbo, with Technoblade, and I feel like anytime you get mixed up with those two, you know, just ask Tommy, for instance, there is some risk that you could lose a life, especially if people start to, I don't know, figure out what the heck they did with Sam. That may be a reason that they're like, well, you know, they may hold Aerith hostage, but Aerith, in my opinion, is too fabulous to lose a canon life. Aaron, meanwhile, Aaron, not Aerith, is a medium risk. I would say, 1, he's kind of hiding Dream's coordinates. Seems like on some level he may be like aligned with Dream, and also Aaron seems like a very foolish person. I think that's kind of part of his character, and when you are that level of naive and you could fall for anything, you're always at a risk of being led into some kind of trap. We've got George is next. Georgenotfound, of course. I put him at the low, medium risk. He's had that lore lately that I haven't really covered because I was under the impression that it was all a dream. He used to read Word Up magazine, but I think George has some weird stuff going on. And anytime people start having weird dreams, that's when I'm like, all right, something may be coming in the not too distant future. Hannah, meanwhile, Hannah's a low risk. Hannah seems to largely be doing her own thing on the server, and I think that is part of the reason why Hannah is probably going to be okay when it comes to the canon lives. If she was going to lose one, I feel like it would have been during the whole Eggpire thing. H-Bomb, same as Hannah. He's kind of doing his own thing. Unless somebody gets mad and kills Catmade H-Bomb, I think H-Bomb's gonna be fine in the long run. Jack is also interesting. I put Jack in the low category as well. He's living in New Manifold Land. He's hanging out with Nikki. They've sort of got their alliance, but they're in this group that has sort of distanced themselves from a lot of the lore going on in favor of peace. And for that reason, I think Jack is okay. When he was warring with Tommy, I thought it would have been way worse, but now, very low risk of anything bad happening. Michael, I think, is also in that same boat where he kind of does his own thing. I'm putting him at low. Honestly, I haven't seen a whole lot of Michael lore, so maybe leave a comment down below. Let me know if I'm right or wrong in that regard. Nikki has Syndicate Protection. I feel like Syndicate Protection gives you a little bit of a buffer when it comes to, you know, your lives. Plus, she's off doing her own thing, right? She and Jack are kind of out in their own world, so low risk for Nikki. Puns, meanwhile, now we're getting back into it. Puns, I think, is medium because of the association with Dream, but nobody knows about the association with Dream. At least I think. I don't know, I may be misremembering that. But I think Puns is medium because it's going to come out that Puns is sort of on Dream's side. So at that point, it'll be a high risk, but right now, I don't know. Purpled, okay, Purpled is the first person we've had on this video that is high risk. And that is because Purpled has pissed Quackity off to no end. I mean, Purpled is Quackity enemy number 1, I feel right now. So I gotta put Purpled at high risk of some Quackity vengeance. Sapnap, meanwhile, has a freaking death note. When did this happen? But the Sapnap death note, the fact that he's messing around with Dream XD almost killed him twice, right? So the fact that he's messing around with Dream XD, he tried to death note Dream, I think you gotta put Sapnap at high risk as well. Finally, we've got Tina. Tina is at low risk. I don't know a lot about Tina, but I think she's only kind of done a little bit on the server. I know she's part of Kanoko Kingdom, so I would say low for Tina. Alyssa, is she gonna rejoin the server at any point? If she does, she's got all 3 lives, but I would say she's at low risk of running into any trouble. Kind of the same as Callahan, like above the outside the game almost. Now we get into a weird category of lives where it is, I would say, 2-ish lives. We got 2-ish lives, and that is for the one and only behind me. Let's see, we got Sam. Sam is at 2-ish because as far as I know, he's at 3 lives. But I also know he's done like 85 lore streams in the last week, and anytime somebody ramps up their lore, they're at a very high risk of something bad happening to them. If you want to see me react live to all of Sam's lore for the past week, make sure you stop by my Twitch, twitch.tv/YoBGS. I stream every Tuesday and Thursday, and this week we're going to be checking out Sam's recent lore. So if anything good happened there, you want to make sure you stop by twitch.tv/YoBGS. All right, so that moves us down to the people with 2 lives left on the server, and of course I'm going to talk about when they lost their first canon life, as well as whether or not I think they're going to lose another canon life here in the next little bit. We're going to start with Ant Frost. Ant Frost lost a canon life at the Red Banquet, and I honestly think Ant Frost's chances of dying again are very low, because the Eggpire isn't really a thing anymore. So I feel like when that sort of dissolved, Ant's now at like a lower risk of running into any more problems than he would have before. Bad Boy Halo and Skeppy, they're this weird combo amalgamation where Bad said that he can only die when Skeppy dies 3. So like Skeppy is a Horcrux, right? For Bad Boy Halo. And Skeppy has actually died at the hands of Bad Boy Halo when he got pushed into the lava. So Skeppy has 2 lives left before BBH becomes vulnerable. But again, because the Eggpire isn't really a thing right now, I feel like both of them are at pretty low risk. Connor, meanwhile, I'm torn between whether or not Connor is medium or high for losing another canon life. Because, like, Slimesicle asked Connor at one point how many lives he had. Connor said he had a bad day and he was already down to 2. So because Connor is literally on his own planet right now, I gotta say, I'll give him a medium risk. I think he's his own worst enemy, though. Almost in some regards like Foolish, because Foolish has that naivete, he can be led into some traps. He was killed by Ant Frost during the Red Banquet. But the other thing is, Foolish has let them know that he's okay with sacrificing a life if the lore demands it. So I would say Foolish is high, Because one, he's been messing with Dream XD. Two, he's made it known that he's okay sacrificing a canon life if he needs to. I know it's a little bit meta, but that kind of factors into some of my reasoning for this. Fundy, I think you gotta put it medium. Fundy was killed in the control room by George. That was when he lost his first canon life, but Fundy's associated with Las Nevadas now. Fundy had those wild nightmares. And again, anytime someone has nightmares on the server, it tends to make me worry about their safety moving forward. Now, granted, Fundy's gone a year and a half without losing a canon life, so maybe he'll be okay, but I think whenever what happens at Las Nevadas goes down, that's when we're gonna see things sort of play out. Carl Jacobs died during the Arid explosion. I guess this isn't something that I remember seeing. Again, this was like a year and a half ago, but I know that's where he lost one of his canon lives. And I would actually say now, because of Tales of the SMP, I think that Carl is at a very high risk of losing another canon life. Tales from the SMP is back. It is wild, and I don't think he gets out of the Tales saga without losing at least one canon life in some way. Punk, meanwhile, died at the hands of Sam. Imagine that. Punk tried to steal some of the prison key cards. There was that whole weird, like, forced coercion. I don't want to say the T word. I don't want to get demonetized, but Punk messed with Sam a lot, and now everybody has kind of turned on Sam. So I almost feel like Punk is okay. I would say Punk, to my knowledge anyway, is at low risk because the only person who really was going after him was Sam. And I feel like Sam has bigger fish to fry at the moment. Finally, in the 2 lives left club, we have Quackity. We all know how Quackity lost his first life. Technoblade picked his brain about some really important issues, and yeah, that was kind of a thing. But because Quackity and Las Nevadas are coming to a head right now, I would say Quackity's risk of losing one of his 2 remaining canon lives is high. It's gotta be high, right? Because whether Purple goes after him, whether Wilbur goes after him, there's just so much BS going on right now with that world that I don't see Quackity making it out of that alive. It's kind of funny because the people with 2 lives left, I tended to think were likely going to die again, but the people with 1 life left, I almost consider pretty safe, right? Dream died at the hands of Tommy, died the second time at the hands of Tommy, but I don't see him dying again. I mean, it's his server, right? Plot armor, very much a thing. He also has the revive book, so even if he dies again, I don't foresee it, like, counting. So I would put Dream at a very low risk of being ixnayed on the Ombre again. Techno, this is new. This is new, right? I thought Techno would be a 3 life kind of guy, but he's got 1. And it's because he revealed just in passing that apparently he only has 1 canon life. Nobody really knows why that is, but that is now a thing, much like his buddy Filza, who only gets 1 because he's a hardcore dude. Now, Techno, I would put it low. I don't see anybody taking Technoblade out. It's just a fact. He's also, like, kind of allies with a lot of people, so I think he can bluff his way through any confrontation, and if he can't, he's proven he can throw hands, right? So he'll be fine. But Phil, I would say, is almost at medium, because Phil is seen as a target by anyone looking to get to Technoblade, right? We can't kill Technoblade, but we can kill Filza, and so that's why I say he's medium. Tubbo rounds out the 1 life club. I would say Tubbo is low. I think, you know, he's on his vengeance arc right now, and I don't really foresee anybody taking him out, mainly because he's the one that is doing the vengeance, and when you're powered by vengeance, you have a pretty good chance of making it through alive. Meanwhile, this is the last, well, I guess we could always do the people that aren't on the server anymore, but we don't know how many lives Tommy has. We don't know how many lives Wilbur has. We don't know how many lives Slimesicle has. I've had this argument a ton on my Twitch, twitch.tv/YoBGS. Everyone thinks Tommy and Wilbur have 1 life. We don't know what the revive book does. Like with Carl, right? Or not Carl, with Jack. Jack came back to life and got 3 lives, right? So we know that for him, but it's not been revealed with Tommy and Wilbur how many lives they have, so it'll be interesting to keep an eye on that. Also, Slimecicle, my headcanon about Slimecicle is that he has possessed Michael. And eventually, Michael's gonna grow up and be like, dap me up, Dad, and then everybody is gonna lose their mind. I would lose my mind, and that's even my prediction. But okay, so I guess to round things out, because we've done like literally every other group, these people are considered out. These people, 0 canon lives. You got Jay Schlatt, poor alcoholic bastard. Mexican Dream. We all wish Mexican Dream had another cameo, but not so much. Ranboo, we still don't know how he died, but we know that he did die either by Sam or by triggering explosives, depending on which timeline you want to believe, the Wilbur line or the Ranboo line. Oh, that was the other thing I was going to say about Wilbur, by the way. I told you this was kind of a impromptu stream of conscious sort of video, but Wilbur is like living in a different timeline right now. And for some reason, I think that alternate timeline type thing is gonna keep him from losing his last canon life. Meanwhile, Laserbeam and Vicstar had the poor misfortune of dying to death at the hands of Dream over and over and over, and now they are just no longer a part of the server. So again, what do you think, friends? Are my projections accurate? Did I miss anything? Let me know in the comments down below. If you like these kind of videos, a little bit less formal, a little bit less reaction-y, leave a comment as well to let me know, and I can definitely do some more of these in the future. But until the next time, my friends, protect your canon lives as always, take care, and I will see you for the Salty Runback.